Well, hello there, Sugar Pie. Mrs. Sinnott here, calling in across the time and space continuum using my son's coffee time machine. I was just speaking with that dear Mrs. Davids, and she's handed things over to me. Thank you kindly, my lovely friend. I'll take it from here. Now, you may think you know Hawaiian coffee. Everybody whispers Kona Kona like it's the only tune on the jukebox. But sugar, there's more to paradise than just one song. Our precious boys, Kevin and Ken, are about to blind taste 3 Hawaiian brews. So join me here as we watch these young men do a deep dive into the world of Hawaiian coffee. Little slack guitar, please. Why sip yesterday's coffee when you can taste history itself in this exciting overview to kick off the Kona and Hawaiian coffee series of Are Expensive Specialty Coffees Worth It?
We move on to Kona coffees now, or to Hawaiian coffees, really. I think that the pattern of our trio of coffees may be different, may surprise us. Well, let's just start from the top with Kona. Kona is, of course, an American coffee. Kona coffee is a special case in specialty coffee for many reasons. It's an ideal. People often say, well, Kona coffee is just a name, and this is true. Kona coffee is resented by specialty coffee people because they feel they have to carry it and it's not a great coffee and they pay too much for it and they can't find it. The point is that there's a kind of a ideal coffee behind the Kona name. And it's amazing to me how persistent that sensory vision is of a coffee. And it's a kind of a soft, melodic, classic coffee. A little acidity, but not too much. A gentle coffee. And of course, we associate that gentleness with the gentleness of the Hawaiian climate and lovely soft sea breezes. And you get off the plane and that air comes up under your shirt and you sort of start levitating even though you're carrying your bags. The Kona, amazingly to me, is that the vision has persisted. To be literal is that you can't get Kona coffee. It's very difficult, and if you do get it, it's probably going to be disappointing. People are finding ways to express that ideal and sell it on the basis of the Kona associations, and that's what we're tasting today. We're going to taste a pure Kona coffee, standard version, and we're going to taste a 10% Kona blend because that's one way to capitalize on the name. It has 10% Kona coffee in it and 90% coffees from Latin America, usually Central America, or maybe Peru. Peru is a good one. In some ways, blended and roasted to mimic that softness, that fragrant, soft, round, melodic Kona ideal cup. And then we're going to taste a pure 100% coffee from a region that's not Kona, but it's very close. It's in Hawaii. And it's still a very expensive coffee, which is limited production and a much bigger demand, of course. A way of trying to satisfy the desire for that ideal Hawaiian or Kona cup without the very high prices of Kona. And the last part of this picture, why is there a limited production of Kona or a limited amount of Kona, pure Kona available? And there are many reasons. The main reason is the growing region is small. It's just a coffee belt that follows at about 1,000 feet to about 2,500 feet along a highway on the slopes of 2 volcanoes. So it's a small area. All the producers are usually small producers. They have 5 to 10 acres usually. And originally the industry was founded by Japanese plantation workers who were fired in the 19th century and went to the hills and started growing coffee. Another reason, of course, is that Hawaii used to be exempt from any world coffee diseases, but now, of course, they have rust disease, the most deadly of all diseases for coffee trees, and they've been keeping it under control, but it's reduced. And they have other local Hawaiian-grown pests as well. Well, I should say, is Kona coffee itself worthy of the Kona name, of that Kona ideal? And it may be that it's not. And the reason it's not is because of the 10% Kona blend. In other words, if people are buying Kona just because it has to be grown in Kona in order to put it in a blend, then who knows what that coffee is like? Probably those other Latin American coffees that are blended with it are better coffees in the cup. That doesn't matter what it is, so long as it came from Kona, we can sell it. That sort of psychology. Now, after all of that, I just want to say, because I have some friends in the industry there, that there are individual farms in Kona that do colossally fine coffees. You buy them on the internet and you pay a whole bunch of money for them. We're not tasting any of those coffees. I didn't think it would be fair almost.
Is it true that the vast majority of the good, the best, the pinnacle of Kona's crop goes to Japan and other places in the world that
Korea
compete for it?
in particular.
Korea,
yeah. Well, I mean, there's no incentive for an ordinary producer to do great coffee because it just goes into a 10% Kona blend. That's one reason. And then the other reason is, I suppose, most of the very best ones may be picked off by East Asian buyers who are willing to pay more money for it than the American buyers who are resenting it and feeling they're being blackmailed by the name. The East Asian coffee industry, though, started as coffee took off in Korea and Taiwan and Japan. They have different histories in those places, but it took off as a specialty beverage. It wasn't like in the United States, where coffee was a commodity beverage, a beverage
Right.
for every man's beverage, inexpensive, good cup of joe kind of. They didn't have that tradition. When the industry developed there, they developed that at the high end in the industry, like wine did in the United States, for example. We still have that tradition of in the United States, which I admire, the tradition of coffee as every man's luxury. It was not every man's luxury. It was started as a luxury in East Asia.
Right, pure. Right,
So
right.
their market
luxury.
is set up to deal with the coffees like Kona, whereas ours isn't.
One thing about a blend, especially when someone has an image in mind of what the blend should aspire to be in a certain level, there's a lot of creativity.
I'm trying to, again, emphasize that ideal cup. It's like when we did Mocha Java, and there was a remarkable consistency to Mocha Java blends, even though the coffees came from different places. And I think on a certain level, that's true of the Kona ideal.
Well now, that's enough daydreaming for one sitting. I can practically hear the surf still rolling in my ears. But Sugar Pie, don't wander too far. I'll be back on the coffee time machine real soon. And next time, the boys will begin their blind tastings. 3 coffees, 3 stories, and more than a little mystery to unravel. Until then, keep your coffee hot and your imagination hotter. After all, sugar, every sip is a step toward tasting paradise.